rivet, bolt, welding connection. Okay, so today we will learn vastly about the bolting, about the fasteners. So under fasteners, which things, which connections does come, like bolt and rivets. So these are the fasteners. So we will learn about these things, and the Indian Standard Protocol, what are the standardized parameters you need to follow during designing with those particular connections. Okay, so let us get aware of some terminologies like pitch. So what is pitch? Pitch is also designated as P. So pitch is the center to center distance of adjacent rivets or bolt holes measured in the direction of stress. And this is given in the clause 10.2.2 in IS 800 2007. So what is pitch? So pitch distance, see, this is a section. Okay, this is a section. Say this is a section, and here this is the continuing part. This has been connected with another member. Say a member is connected in this way. Okay, so where would the fastener or the bolt will be connected? So this will be the place of connection, right? So this part has been shown in this diagram. Okay, so which one we will call as a pitch distance? So pitch distance will be, say, this. First of all, when you will apply the bolting connection, you need to make a hole first. Then you can draw that bolt into that hole, right? So the pitch distance will be that center of the hole to the next center of the hole. So the center is this point and the center is this point of this consecutive or adjacent holes. So that distance is known as pitch. And one thing, you will identify this to be as a pitch distance when a member will be addressed to a certain force. See, this member has been addressed to this force direction. So the pitch distance will be parallel to this force direction. Okay, so the pitch distance will be parallel to this force direction of the member. So what is the pitch distance? It is the center to center distance of adjacent rivet or bolt holes measured in the direction of stress. Okay. So next, is called minimum pitch. So what do you mean by minimum pitch? See, in order to create this hole, you need to assure that you are not making this hole very close to each other. If you create this hole very close to each other, what will happen? This hole will not be able to distribute the force flow in a proper way. So this will not be able to, that force flow will not be able to go in a proper way. So a closely spaced hole can make that connection or member fail. What happens? See, if you just say this is a part of a paper. Okay, so if you punch a hole at this point and at this point, what happen if you try to pull this paper in this direction? The tear will the tear or the rupture will be created in much the rupture will occur in a longer time. So the failure might take a longer time, but in that case, if you would have created that hole very closely, and then if you try to pull this paper, what will happen? Due to this close spacing, that tear or rupture will occur very fast. So we need to know a minimum pitch distance. Okay. So in that order, we can secure our member section to get failed. So what is the minimum pitch distance? So here it is given to prevent bearing failure. So that calls bearing failure. So the type of failure which occurs due to the closer distance to the bolt hole or the rivet hole, that kind of failure is called as bearing failure. I will show you the, just a minute. Okay, I will show you the failure diagram in the later classes as well. So, to prevent the bearing failure between two bolts, sufficient space to tighten bolts, this minimum pitch is required. And maximum pitch mean, so you cannot say if the paper, this is a very same paper, okay, so you have put the pitch distance over this point and that point. Now you pull the paper, so what will happen? This will obviously tear up very fast from this part, right? So from this part, it will try to come off from this paper material, right? So there should be also a maximum pitch distance. So the desirable to place bolts sufficiently close, this has been given to the clause 10.2.3. Okay. So to reduce the length of connection and gusset plate. So what is the purpose of providing the maximum pitch? So to reduce the length of connection and gusset plate to have uniform stress. Well, what is gusset plate? Well, what happens, say here, this is a connection, this is a member, this is a member coming into one place. So what happens? To connect these sections, an external plate are used to join this member. So this external plate is also called as gusset plate. Through this plate, this member get connected to one point. So this plate actually increases the connection strength. Okay. So what happens? Providing that maximum pitch, desirable maximum pitch, is to reduce the length of connection and gusset plate. So if you provide the gusset plate in a very huge way, so what happens? It will obviously take much space. So by providing the maximum, assuring the maximum pitch, we can reduce this length of gusset plate to its optimum length. Okay, and also to have a uniform stress. Okay, so the distance between two consecutive bolts mean, see, if this is a member and this is a bolting connection. Okay, so the distance between two consecutive bolts should be less than 16T or 200 millimeter in tension and less than 12T or 200 millimeter in compression. So what does that mean? So the maximum pitch is given is when that distance between two consecutive bolts, when we have to calculate this 16T. Here T means the plate, the thickness of the plate on which these connections are to be created. So which plate should be considerable? See, here what happens, this is a plate and this is another plate. Okay, so if you want to connect this, it will look like in this manner, right? So what happens? So it will not always happen that this both the plate will have a same thickness. So if this plate have a certain amount of thickness, so that plate will have a different kind of thickness. So we have to consider the minimum plate thickness. We have to consider the plate thickness which have the minimum value. So considering that T 16 into T or 200 millimeter when the member is in tension, and that T into the times of factor will be reduced. See here, for tension it has been considered to be 16 and for compression it has been considered to be 12. So that should be also considered as the minimum thickness, minimum plate thickness into 12 or 200 millimeter in compression. So let us see what it says. A row of rivets or bolts which is parallel to the direction of stress is called gauge line. The normal distance between two adjacent gauge line is called gauge. So there is a picture. See, the pitch distance was the center to center distance of a fastener hole within to the direction of the stress, and see the gauge distance is just opposite. It is the center to center distance of a bolt hole perpendicular to the stress coming to the member. So the difference between pitch and gauge is that the pitch will lie parallel to the direction of the stress, and the gauge distance will lie perpendicular to the distance of the stress. Okay, and see, this is called the lap distance. What is lap? See, this line you are observing, this is another member. This might be another member which has been connected top of another member. So this is the lapping portion. This part of the member has been this part of the member has been lapped over another member. So that is why this total distance is called lap distance. And see, another one is called edge distance. So what is edge distance? The distance between the edge of a member or cover plate from the center of the nearest rivet or bolt hole, and here end distance is it given? End distance. Okay. So I will show you from the diagram. See, this is the edge distance. So edge distance will be, so this part will be the edge. So how, and this part will be the end. So end will also, you can relate, compare this edge and end with corresponding to the direction of the stress. See, the end distance will lie parallel to the stress direction, and it will be the it will be the distance from the last bolt hole to the lap distance, and that distance will lie parallel to the stress direction. And what is edge distance? Edge distance will be the distance of the last bolt or the end bolt up to that direction, and it will lie perpendicular to the stress direction. Okay, so the center to center direction perpendicular to the stress direction will be gauge, and the end bolt to the last edge, last length of the lapping or the last length of the member will be designated as edge, and similar way the pitch and the end distance will lie parallel to the stress direction. Okay. Okay, up to this, do you have any problem understanding? Just a minute. Please respond me. Okay. Okay. Now, let us study next part. What is nominal diameter and what is gross diameter? Okay. So nominal diameter is also termed as small d. So it is the diameter of the shank of the rivet for bolts. The diameter of the unthreaded portion of the shank is called its nominal diameter. I will show you the diagram. Yes. Sorry, excuse me. See, say, see, this is a typical diagram of a bolt, right? So the nominal diameter will be that part. See, this is D, small d. See, this is a total shank part, right? But in the place of rivet connection, I am calling, because in the place of rivet there is no threaded part. But see, in the case of bolt connection, there is a threaded part. So from a logic, from a proper viable logic, you can understand, due to making, I mean in the process of making this thread, here some amount of area has been reduced, right? So this part is not considered, this reduced area part is not considered as a nominal diameter. That is why the nominal diameter has been considered from this unthreaded plain surface part. Okay, actually this plain unthreaded part will take the actual strength of the bolt will be generated from this part, majorly from this part. Okay, so the nominal diameter will be considered in this from this section. Okay, and what is the gross diameter? Well, gross diameter is the diameter of rivet hole or bolt hole is called the gross diameter. Here, accord absolute. So, I am not going through this connection with a proper detailing. So, I will jump into the bolt connection for every detailing. Okay. So now for bolt connection, the minimum and maximum edge distance and end distance are given, which is given in clause 10.2.4.2 and 10.2.4.3. Okay, just let me just open the IS code parallelly, then it will be okay. Please reply me. Can you able to see the IS code which I am showing right now? Please respond me. Any one of you? Yes, Raka.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, okay. So, see 10.2.4.2. So this is 10.3.3. So we have came so far 10.2.242. So okay, so this is the clause which has been given here. And in this clause, see, this has been given the minimum edge. So now I will consider that you have understood the edge and end distance. So here, see, it is given the minimum edge and end distance from the center of any hole to the nearest edge of the plate shall not be less than 1.7 times the hole diameter in case of shredded or hand flange cuttages, and 1.5 times the hole diameter in case of rolled machine flame cut, sawn and planed edges. Mean 1.7 and 1.5 times for its individual specification of the manufacturing of the bolt. Okay. So this has been classified according to the manufacturing of the bolt. So this has been given. So we will mention this during the problem solution cases. Okay, so which one we will have to consider? So most of the cases 1.7 are considered, some in some cases 1.5s are also considered. Okay, so next, see the maximum edge distance. See in the clause 10.2.4.3, the maximum edge distance to the nearest line of the fasteners from an edge of any unstiffened part, should not exceed 12p. This is tau, where this is designated also as 250 by Fy. This is root over. Okay, so this is also designated as here. So T is the thickness of the thinner plate similarly. Okay, so here mostly the T has to be considered as the plate which will have the thinner, which will have the least thickness. Okay, next is bolt hole. So the bolt holes are required to facilitate the insertion of bolts to make connection between steel members. Bolt holes are usually made larger than the nominal diameter of bolt to smooth the progress of erection and accommodate minor discrepancies. So we know the nominal diameter. So this is the nominal diameter, say. Okay, so this bolt will go through a hole, right? So we will always like to have that hole to be up, to be quite bigger than that nominal diameter. Just in the process, the bolt to smooth progress of erection and accommodate the minor discrepancies. Okay, so we will try to make that hole quite a much more than the nominal diameter for the ease of insertion. So that has been considered as bolt hole equal to the bolt diameter plus clearance holes. So this has been given in clause 10.2.1 table 19. So 10.2.1, see, this is table 19. The table is given here. So I am going through that PDF. You please go through that IS code version. Here, see, corresponding to the diameter, the standard clearance, the oversize, the short slot, long short, these are all given. So the corresponding to the diameter of the bolt, the corresponding standard clearances are given. Okay, so we will add that clearances with its corresponding bolt diameter while we will solve the problems. Extracting the values from these clause and the table 19. Okay. Next. So these are the type of possible joints we will observe. First, let us see, depending upon the arrangement of bolts and plates. So the type of joints will vary with the arrangement of bolts and plates. Then the type of joints will depend upon the mode of load transmission. So the first, what does first one says? See, this is a member, this is another member. Okay, so the how the member is connected with, say, this can be uh, say this is a I section. Okay, and this is another I section. So that the wave part of this member and the flange part of this member connection. So this type of connection is different to this type of connection. So the depending upon the arrangement of bolts and plates, through this we can justify the type of joints. And the other type of joint we can observe that the load transmission. So as per the load, the mode of load transmission, the types of joint can be varied. Next, depending upon the nature of location of the load. So these are very important thing to understand before classifying the joints. So before just understanding the types of joints, we need to know the arrangement of bolts and plates, the mode of load transmission, and the nature and the location of load. Okay. Next, the types of bolt joints. See, these are the type of bolt joints which we can see depending upon the arrangement of bolts and plates, which I was saying. So, this has been classified further as lap joint and butt joint. So, under lap joint, a single line bolting, chain bolting, and staggered or zigzag bolting comes. So let me show you this diagram. See, this is a pattern of chain bolting. Say, if this is a member, this is one member, and this is another member. This is another member. So this has been the lap. So what will be the lapping section? So this part will be the overlap part of this both member. So when this category of bolting you can observe, these are also called chain bolting. So this is a kind of lap joint. So lap joint can be designated as per the plates. See, the plate has been lapped over one to another, and so and the bolting pattern is chain bolting. Okay, so the bolting pattern is like chain bolting. Next one is the staggered or zigzag bolting. This also comes under lap joint. See, lap joint means a member which has been overlapped by another member. See, this is the zigzag or staggered bolting. See, this is a zigzag bolting, way of bolting. Okay, so this is a type of zigzag bolting. Now, okay, this is another one. This is also a category of lap joint, and the type of bolting is diamond bolting. This is a category of diamond bolting. Okay, so these all comes under the lap joint. The plates will be in a lap joint, and these are the categories of bolting. Next is butt joint. So butt joint is, let me show you the butt joint diagram is given. Okay, so we will discuss that butt joint later. Let us just finish the lap joint concept first. Okay, I will come to that. See, depending upon arrangement of bolts and plates, this is the diagram which you can observe from the top of the section. So this is, if you are watching this from the top of the section, now this is the diagram which you can see from the side of the section. If this is, say, this is a plate, right, and this is another plate, see, this plate has been shown in a overlap way. So see, this is a plate. If you see it from the top part, this is another plate. This is another plate. So I am showing it in a dotted line, from which I can show you that this plate is beneath that plate. Okay, so that is the bottom plate, and this is the top plate. See, here the top plate is this one, and here this is the bottom plate, and the connection will be joined in the overlapping part. So the connection will from here, sorry, the connection will be somewhat like this. So if you watch it from the side view, you can, and this chain, if this bolting arrangement is in this order, so you can only be able to see only one bolting from the side, right? Am I right? So this is called single bolted lap joint. See, this is a single bolted lap joint. So single bolted means, see, in this series, a multiple bolt can be situated, but the series is a single, only one. That is why this is called single bolted lap joint. So this is overlap plate. That is why this is called lap joint. So from this part we can understand the pattern of bolting, and from this part we can understand the pattern of plate arrangement. Okay. Next, see, this is a triple bolted lap joint. See, this is the same plate overlapped, but see, if the bolts are situated in this way, okay, see, this is 1, 2, 3. So this is triple bolted lap joints. This is overlap. The plate is overlap. Okay. So why are we saying triple bolted? Why are not we are not saying 6 bolted? You may ask me, right? That is because, see, if you just observe this picture, the direction of load is coming in this way, right? So the load will be actually carried by this single line of, or the single chain of this bolting arrangement only. This the section will not be the force will not be distributed, or what I should say, the force going through this member will not only um, be distributed by these 6 bolts individually. The force will be, this stress will be experienced by this chain of bolting series. That is why this is called triple bolted, and in that places that series of bolting will be single. Okay. So now next one is C, single bolted C. I will come to that single bolted later. Let me just explain the single cover butt joint. See, now the expansion of butt joint comes. See, butt joint mean when a member is connected, the mouth of one member will be connected to the another face of plate. So this is a butt joint. So see, here it is a see, this butt joint has been covered by a single plate. This butt joint has been covered with a single plate, and that is why this is called single cover butt joint. And next come to the single bolt. Why does it called single bolt? Because here, see, if I draw this, let me show you this. This is the top plate. This is the bottom plate. This is another bottom plate. And this will coincide somewhere in this place, right? So that plate will coincide in this way, and that plate will coincide in this way. So I am showing this one, okay? And the bolting connection are such like this. Okay, so the picture, the top view picture does looks like this way. So this is called the single bolted, single covered butt joint. Now just come to the next type. See, the similar part, just only the bottom part is covered by another plate. That is why this is called double cover. See, the cover given to this butt joint is 1, 2, double cover, and single bolted, because for this member a bolt is going only one, and this member is taking only one bolt series. That is why this is called single bolted. For this part also, this member was only taking one bolt, and this member was also taking one bolt. To connect, see, the top one is only to cover this member. The main purpose is not to transmit that load for this cover plate, right? So that load transmission majorly will be taken by this this butt joint. So we have to concentrate that how many series of bolt has been taken for individual plate. From this we can designate that this will be single bolted single cover and single bolted double covered butt joint. Okay, see this picture. This is a double bolted double cover butt joint. So this is a member. Here here a face of a plate has been connected to another face of plate, and these both plate has been covered by 1 and 2. So this will be called as double covered butt joint. And see, this plate has been carried by these two series of bolt, and this plate has been carried by these two series of bolt. That is why this is called double bolted, double covered butt joint. Okay. So now, have you understood up to this? Please clarify me. Have you understood up to this or not? Yes, Raka, I did not hear you.